Peri Peri in Mozambique, also known as Pili Pili in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is a zesty South African marinade and sauce that is crazy delicious. Chilies, lemon, spices, ground down and used to flavor up a chicken that's then fire roasted until golden brown. We're also going to cook down some of the reserved marinade to make a super delicious sauce for one of the most flavorful dishes around. You know what's up, let's start with the prep. Sound good? Let's cook. I'm going to be using a whole roasting chicken that weighs in between 3.5 and 4 pounds. But you could absolutely use individual chicken parts like drums, thighs, or breasts. However, it is classical to use a whole chicken. We want to remove the backbone of the chicken. This is also known as a flattened chicken or a spatchcock chicken. Now to do this, you can use a sharp knife or really firm, sharp kitchen shears, which is what I'm going to do. Now, when you're removing that backbone, be sure to cut around the tenderloins, leaving them a part of the chicken. We don't want those to go to waste. Then you simply cut on the other side of the backbone until it is completely removed. Now you can remove some of these other bones that are in the inside of the cavity, but for me, I don't worry about those. So at this stage, let's flip the chicken completely over so it's breast side up, and then we are gonna press down on the sternum, flattening the chicken, and then rotating the drums over and facing them forward so that it looks just like this. Now what we're gonna do is using a paper towel, pat the chicken dry on all sides. We're doing this so that the next few ingredients we add stick really well to it. Now once it is dry, I'm just going to transfer it over to a large bowl. Now at this stage, I'm going to squeeze on the juice of 1 lemon, which is about 4 to 5 total tablespoons. Now using your hands, rub the lemon juice all over the chicken, including underneath the skin. Now this process is not only going to help flavor up the chicken, it's also going to help tenderize it. Then we're going to generously season it on all sides and underneath the skin with coarse salt. You'll probably use in between 2 and 3 tablespoons total. Remember, you have to season up 3.5 to 4 pounds of chicken. Once it is seasoned up with that lemon juice and salt, we're just going to set it to the side for about 25 to 30 minutes and let some of those flavors infuse. And of course, for the leftover backbone, just hit it in the freezer until you have enough ingredients to make chicken stock. And now for that peri peri sauce, I've got fresh Fresno peppers. Now the classic chili, of course, would be a peri peri chili. It's also known as a bird's eye chili or even a Thai chili. Now these chilies about 200 years ago made their way from Portugal to the 2 African colonies of Angola and Mozambique because Portugal could not find a way to market them. And believe it or not, the sauce didn't even become popularized in Portugal until the 1960s. Now, of course, these can be hard to find fresh in the United States, so you can purchase the dried version. Now, another option is that you could use red finger chilies, which have a Scoville of about 40 to 60,000, which is just a tad bit higher than the 30 to 50,000 bird's eye chilies. However, you know me, I like comfortably spicy, so I'm going to use the Fresno pepper, which has a Scoville in between 5 and 10,000. Very similar to a serrano pepper. Now what I'm going to do is slice off the ends and then remove the pith where all that heat is and of course the seeds. However, again, if you love spice, you leave the pith and the seeds in there. Next up, we're just going to remove the ends from 10 whole garlic cloves. Then I have 1 small shallot. You could also use a white, sweet, or red onion. Just slice off the end, slice it in half, and remove the peelings. Then we're going to take the garlic and the shallots and add it to a food processor along with 8 seeded Fresno peppers. Next up, I'm adding the juice of 2 lemons, which is about 5 to 6 tablespoons in total. And since I can't find my lemon squeezer, I can only find my orange squeezer. And trust me, after 15 years in the restaurant industry, I've squeezed citrus through this thing a million times. And I promise you, cut side down renders the most amount of juice. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of regular paprika. You could use smoked or sweet here. Then we're going to add the lid to that food processor. And we're going to process on high speed while slowly drizzling in 1 cup of olive oil, but of course avocado oil would be a great substitute. Once everything is in there and the sauce is emulsified, I'm going to season it with coarse salt. We want to make sure our sauce is very flavorful, and just like I always say, try your food. Make sure it is properly seasoned. Does it need more salt? Does it need more lemon juice? You absolutely have to be the judge here. Now, if things are a bit too spicy, what you could do to chill it out is hit it with a tablespoon or two of white vinegar, or even the juice of a half lemon, or you could try a teaspoon or two of sugar, and last but not least, you could add in a half-seeded red bell pepper just to help stretch it out and break down some of that spice. But in the end, you should have a nice thick emulsified peri peri sauce. At this point, just divide the sauce in half into containers. Now we're just going to bring back over the chicken that's been sitting in the salt and lemon juice, and we're going to add on just one of the peri peri sauces. Remember, we split it in two. We'll save the other half for later. And generously rub the chicken on all sides, even underneath the skin, and really massage the sauce into the chicken. We want this to be so flavorful. I can't say that enough. And because my daughter and wife really only like chicken breasts, I'm going to flip it over, and as the marinade settles down at the bottom, all the flavor will be able to soak into those chicken breasts, giving them all the goodness. Now, I'm just going to cover it in plastic and put it in the refrigerator for as little as 4 hours or all the way up to 48 hours. Remember, the longer the marinade, the more flavorful the chicken. And one thing I can absolutely tell you is that nowadays, no peri peri marinade recipe is going to be the same, and that's okay. However, I did an incredible amount of research for this recipe, and come to find out the original version from the late 1800s in the town of Beira used few ingredients. About 2 cups of lemon juice, water, and 5 to 6 bird's eye chilies slow cooked for 10 to 12 hours on very low heat. The result is a comfortably spicy, slightly sweet, smoky sauce. Now, obviously, as things have turned to go, no one wants to take the time to do those procedures anymore, which is why we're now doing the hurry-up versions to bring about more flavor quicker, which, don't get me wrong, is still super delicious. But if you do have time to make the original, I highly recommend it. For that other half of peri peri sauce, we're just going to place in the refrigerator until we're ready to use it. Then next up, when you're ready to cook the chicken, let's pull it out of the refrigerator. Looks and smells awesome already. We're just going to take the chill off it and let it sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes. But in the meantime, we have plenty of other things to do, like finish off some of that peri peri sauce. Remember that half that you saved? We're going to pour it into a small size sauce pot, then add about a half cup of water to that little container, swish it around, get all that goodness out of there, and add it right in there. We're going to cook it over low to medium heat for about 20 to 30 minutes and help concentrate the flavors as well as take the bite out of some of the shallots and garlic. Now, the reason you don't need to do this for the marinade is because that chicken is going to be cooked on the grill, and those things will cook using those procedures. Now, classically, a peri peri chicken would be cooked over an open wood flame grill. The other options would be to do it right on your smoker at least 500 degrees Fahrenheit. If that's not an option, you can lay the chicken skin side up on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper and cook it in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit on a middle rack, and it'll take about 45 to 50 minutes for the chicken to cook through. For me, I've got a hot gas grill cranked up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. What I'm going to do is lay the chicken skin side down. And of course, don't forget any of that leftover marinade. Be sure to add it on there. That's just more flavor, my friends. Now I'm going to immediately take the heat from high down to medium. We want it to be about 400 to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Close the door on the grill and cook it for 5 to 6 minutes. We're going to next come back and give the chicken a 90-degree turn. Get those nice grill marks, get a nice char on there. Close the door, cook it again for another 5 to 6 minutes. Then we're going to come back and give the chicken a flip. Be sure to be careful. Everything's going to be hot. And look, when grilling, the point is to get a little char on your food, or else what's the point of grilling? Just put it in the oven or boil it. This isn't burnt. This is a nice little caramelization of the sauce. This is what burnt looks like, and we're nowhere near there. So once we flip it over, we are going to generously baste the chicken, and we're going to cook it for a total of 35 to 40 minutes and come back every 10 minutes and continue to baste the chicken. And once you flip that chicken over and begin that basting process, it obviously is going to need some time for it to finish cooking. But this is great timing because we can make a side dish just in case you were thinking, gosh, I wonder what this chicken goes well with. I've got you covered with a very simple Mozambican coconut rice. In a medium-sized sauce pot, we're gonna add in 2 cups of cold water. Next, 1 3/4 cup of full-fat coconut milk. This is the same as a 13.5-ounce can. We're gonna turn the heat on high and bring that to a boil. In the meantime, in a medium-sized sauce pot, we are going to add in 2 cups of long-grain rice. Turn the heat up to medium-high, and we wanna toast the rice for about 3 to 4 minutes while constantly moving it around. It will go from a cloudy color more to a bright white color like this, and it should not be browned anywhere on the rice. Let's go back and check out the coconut milk and water. It's boiling excellent. We're gonna add it right to that pot, and it will boil up a little bit, so just be careful. Let's stir it in, bring it to a boil, turn the heat down to low, and cook it for 12 to 13 minutes. This is great timing though to get back outside and give our chicken another baste. Gosh, is this starting to look really good, and the smells, I cannot say it enough, incredible. And it's always good to be able to prepare several things at once to be good stewards of our time. Back inside, let's check out the rice. Looks fantastic. That little toast just goes so far into making sure our rice is fluffy and light. We're gonna use a fork to break up the rice and then just set it to the side, uncovered, for 5 to 6 minutes. Alrighty, back out on that grill. Our chicken should be finished up. It looks so good. A beautiful char on there. The sauce is a little caramelized. This is what I'm talking about right here. It's at about 161 to 162 degrees Fahrenheit and will continue to carry over cooking after I pull it off to get it up to that 165. Now be careful, remove the chicken. You may need to use 2 spatulas. We're just gonna pop it on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper and let it rest for 5 to 7 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm just going to grill up 3 to 4 lemons that I sliced in half, cut side down, for only about a minute or 2. What this is going to do is to help soften up the lemon so that you can extract more juice and add some nice fire roasted flavors to it. So good. And the smells in here alone is a big enough push to get you to make this chicken. The sauce, as it was cooking down, I was definitely trying a little bit. It was just concentrating in flavor. More citrusy, more zesty. Oh, so good. It still goes back to those fundamental classic cooking techniques though. Making sure you're marinating for enough time. Getting that little char on the grill. That's all flavor, my friends. Okay, at this point, the rice, the chicken, everything's done. Let's plate this up. Now I'm just being picky here, but I'm just gonna transfer it over to a smaller sheet tray lined with parchment paper. Of course, hit it with all those grilled up lemons and any extra peri peri sauce. This stuff is gold. Then one last time, I'm going to generously baste the chicken with a bunch of that sauce for a tender, juicy, zesty chicken. Then for the coconut rice, just gonna hit it in a bowl, and then optionally, I'm going to sprinkle on some toasted coconut shreds. You can grab that recipe from my coconut cake if you'd like. Come on now, let's get in this. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I'm not a 30-minute meal guy. I'm just not. I need more time than that. But if you give it to me, I promise you, you will blow minds with how incredibly delicious your food will be. And as always, you can get all of my recipes at billyparisi.com in US customary and metric conversions. And if you just love those big, bold flavors, check out my Peruvian chicken, the ají verde sauce. Oh my gosh, so good. I've got a great recipe video. I'll see you on there.